please let me introduce Joel Katte with Ignite Love in Schools.
I began this Ignite Love in Schools movement, really. I'm calling it a movement. I think it's safe to say we swung all the way over to the score. There's a test, there's a score, there's a rating, there's accountability, there's improvement plans, there's funding attached to it. A lot of our kids will tell you they felt like they're a score. And we are trying to swing the pendulum back to the whole child. We are trying to account for more than just that score. What we are trying to do is build school cultures on unconditional love, unconditional respect, and complete acceptance. And acceptance is a tough one, right? We're tough on ourselves. You're going to hear me say over and over again, probably, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. This is about you being the best version of you, but we have to be accepting of each other. And so the third strategy is called Triple Crown Potential. So we moved from Wisconsin to Lexington, Kentucky, the horse capital of the world, and we bought a house on a little piece of Calumet Farm. And if you follow horse racing, you know that Calumet Farm is the most famous horse farm in the world. So my daughter Holly was doing her third grade history project, and she said, I want to find out more about Calumet Farm. So on her own, she picked up the phone, and she called, and the manager said, well, come on in Saturday morning. I'll give you a tour. I was like, well, that's really cool. Tour of Calumet Farm. And sure enough, Bill Whitman, his cowboy hat, his spurs, he opened the gates, and he gave us a 2-hour tour of Calumet Farm. Why are we here? Why are you giving us 2 hours on a Saturday, giving us this tour? He said, well, kind of my thing. You know, if anybody calls and they're genuinely interested in learning, I drop what I'm doing and I teach them. That was sort of his amp up the awe moment. And then Holly said, how can you tell what horse will be the next Triple Crown winner? Well, this was in 2011. There hadn't been a Triple Crown winner in 34 years. And Bill Whitman said, that for the history of Calumet Farm, our philosophy has always been that we treat every foal like it is the next Triple Crown winner. And I thought, oh, wow, that's what we can do. So I took that back to our school, and I said, that's what we need to do. Every kid we treat like they're the next great president, artist, inventor, parent, whatever. There's greatness inside each person. And we have to see their potential in a way that they see it. And, you know, so this comes both ways, though. So not only are we looking at students and colleagues, right? Some of our colleagues have lost sight of who they are and what their potential is. You need to see their Triple Crown potential, too. But not only are we treating them like they have this unlimited potential, there's so much greatness inside them, we just have to help them see it and use it. You have to treat them like they're at risk, too. So I was always a dream chaser, and when I was 16, anybody that would ask about being what I wanted to be, I'd say, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. I'm going to be this Major League Baseball player. But as you know, the older you get, it becomes less cute, and you get a lot of kind of, well, what's your plan B, or what are you really going to do? Or, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. You know, I was sick of those things. And so my sophomore English teacher, Mrs. Wente, she asked us, Journal, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so I poured out my heart on the page. I'm going to be a professional baseball player. And I was dreading the notes that came back. And it did not say, what's your plan B? It said, I know you will do it, exclamation point. And at that moment, I had a plan B. If I didn't become a professional baseball player, I was going to grow up and be Mrs. Wente. Because those 6 words did something to me. And I thought, as teachers, we get to do that. It was my first week of being an elementary school principal. Remember, I came from the high school, and I was running around a county highway chasing a kid. I'm like, this is what we do? They're like, yeah, what did they teach you? I'm like, well, they didn't teach that. They didn't, but it's really important. Like, that's one of your students. And you're not supposed to chase them, but you have to chase them. Which I think is a good metaphor for what we do in our schools, right? There's so many things you have to do, but you can't do, right? So, but there's so many times where, and I've done it with some big kids too, right? Where all of a sudden we get them in a safe hole, and there's something about that physical touch where they're good. Now, yes, that connection, that security, that predictability, knowing you're there. But those of you that are in it, and I saw your heads kind of bob, you know, sometimes when you have that physical touch, you can almost feel it. And it's so important. And a few years ago, I think it was Dateline, they did a special where they followed all these hairstylists going throughout New York City, giving homeless people haircuts and hair washes. And one by one, they said, how did that feel? And they said, oh my gosh, it felt so good. It had been years since somebody's hands were on me. I forgot how good it felt to have somebody touch me. So we have to be aware of that, and I know we have to be smart about it, but we have to think that way. And so one of the things that I think illustrates the eyes have it the best as far as amping up the awe is this young man, Russell. At Waterford, I met Russell. So the first day I was hired, and I remember I had, went through the interviews, and when you're a new teacher, you kind of get your keys and you get a lot of important stuff, but there's a little bit of like, just go get her done, right? But I got very explicit direction for lunch duty. That was the clearest direction I got. It said, you have to stand here because we just finished our renovation, and everybody's always used to coming in here, but they have to go around to the new door. And you have to make sure they go around. I have to stand here? That's boring. I don't want to just stand there. But I did. That was my duty. So I decided, though, I would stand there, but every day I would put an inspirational quote or something funny or joke, and I would wear it. So all the kids would walk in like, oh, and then they'd look at me, and then they'd read the quote. But over the course of 4 years, I pretty much connected with every kid every day, and they would stop and read the quotes, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty special. But I franchised, right? That's a lot of kids, 1,000 kids. And so Russell, he helped me wear some quotes, and in his wheelchair, he would be wheeling it around and interacting with people. And the student council girls, where they had a little snack shop, at the end, they would take the quote and they put it on the wall, and Russell got a little extra attention from them. And love in schools, yeah, Russell had a few crushes we had to work through. But one of my favorite memories is Russell just became sort of this rock star student. And I mean that literally, because we set up a karaoke thing, and one day Russell on his own went over, grabbed the mic, and started singing the best he could. And another girl joined him and sat on his lap, and they sang together. And so you can see Russell has some significant needs, but there's an essence, there's a soul, there's a spirit, there's something inside of him that is so special, and it ignited an entire school community. What, you're up here, Russell? Oh, buddy. And his mom, oh, Russell. I love you guys. I love you. I love you, buddy. You look so good. You look so good. Come on, keep coming, keep coming, come on, keep coming, come up here. The eyes have it, and you know what? Russell gives a lot of kisses. And I know we talked about physical touch in school. He's the only student I ever kissed, so just keep it at that. But Russell is a very warm, gracious, wonderful man, and I love him so much. I love you, buddy. Mr. Larry Berg happens to be here. Thank you, buddy. Love you, man. So, Denny Kaprowski, the man who saw my eyes and said, that'll be you someday, is here.
You're better than that.
Connie is Russell's teacher and still in his life, and she pulled me into her tribe for Spirit Days. And by the way, if you get a chance to do Spirit Day, don't miss a Spirit Day. And Miss Tad Wente is here. And hold on, I have one myself. This is my last message. Be a dream chaser and a dream enabler. And keep that culture going. Thank you.